Swollen ankles after 60 are not your heart, it's your lymph, and this 5-minute habit drains them. Let's start by doing something simple. Take off just one sock. Now, look closely at the skin on your calf where the elastic band sat all day. If you can see a clear, noticeable line pressed into your skin, a groove that stays visible for at least 30 seconds, maybe even a full minute or longer before it finally smooths out, then you'll want to keep reading. This is because what you're seeing isn't necessarily a problem with your sock, or even a simple issue of too much salt in your diet. And contrary to what many people over the age of 60 have been told, in about 70% of cases, it's not a heart problem either. This is actually a problem with your body's drainage system, and the organ responsible is one that most people haven't had explained to them properly. Right now, you might have a significant amount of fluid, perhaps half a liter to a full liter, quietly pooling in the tissues around your ankles and calves from sitting during the day. And here's what's concerning. When you lie down tonight, that excess fluid can cause issues that disrupt your sleep, put extra strain on your heart, and even make existing health problems worse. I'm going to show you exactly what's happening inside your ankles and a simple 5-minute routine you can do before bed to help drain them. Please consider subscribing to Dr. Laura Chen. We're aiming for 100,000 subscribers, and each new person joining increases the chances that someone else who desperately needs this information will find it. You know that feeling I'm talking about. You get home after a long day, kick off your shoes, and you notice your ankles look puffier than they did this morning. Your calves feel tight and heavy. The rings on your fingers suddenly feel snug, almost stuck. You press your thumb into the skin just above your ankle bone, and it leaves a little white indentation that takes ages to fade. Or perhaps you stand up from the couch after sitting for a while, and your legs feel as though they've been filled with concrete while you weren't paying attention. When you bring this up with your doctor, what usually happens? They might ask about your heart, advise you to cut back on salt, or prescribe a diuretic, a water pill that makes you visit the bathroom constantly. While these might offer some small relief for a few people, for most individuals over 60, they offer very little improvement. This is because the excess water isn't actually in your bloodstream in the first place. It's sitting in your body's tissues, and a diuretic can only work on water in your blood, not in your tissues. Essentially, you've been trying to fix the wrong area. Let me help you understand how to fix this. Your body has two main drainage systems, not just one. Most people are familiar with the first, your circulatory system, with arteries carrying oxygenated blood away and veins bringing used blood back. This system has a built-in pump, your heart, which works automatically all the time, whether you assist it or not. The second system is called the lymphatic system. And here's the crucial part that most people aren't aware of. It has no pump whatsoever. The lymph fluid, which is clear and pale yellow, constantly leaks out of tiny blood vessels in your tissues. It bathes your cells, picks up waste products from those cells, dead bacteria, excess proteins, and yes, excess water. This fluid then needs to be returned to your bloodstream through a separate network of vessels called lymph, capillaries, and lymph ducts. Your body processes about 2 liters of this fluid every single day. However, these lymphatic vessels have no heart attached to them, meaning they only move when you move. Think of your lymphatic system like a conveyor belt that only operates when you put weight on it. Every step you take, every time your calf muscles contract or your ankle flexes, it squeezes these lymph vessels and pushes the fluid upward. When you stop moving, the draining stops. If you sit for 3 hours, that conveyor belt completely halts, and the fluid just accumulates in your ankles, doing nothing. When you're younger, say around 30, this isn't usually a major issue. Your lymphatic vessels are more elastic, and the valves inside them are firm and work efficiently. A simple walk across a parking lot can get the whole system moving again within minutes. But as we get older, particularly after 60, 3 things change simultaneously. Your lymphatic vessels start to stiffen, the valves within them can begin to leak, and the surrounding tissue in your ankles, which acts like a supportive matrix, starts to lose its own elasticity. This means fluid can seep out more quickly, while the drainage system becomes slower. The math just stops working, and the fluid reservoir begins to grow. Before we go any further, it's vital to make a clear distinction. There are instances where swollen ankles are not a lymphatic issue and can indicate a genuine medical emergency. It's important to recognize these signs and seek immediate medical attention if any of the following apply to you. If one leg suddenly swells significantly more than the other within just a few hours, and it's accompanied by pain, warmth, and redness, this could be a sign of a dangerous blood clot in your deep veins. You need to be seen by a doctor today. If both legs swell and you're experiencing difficulty breathing, especially when lying flat, waking up gasping for air at night, or finding yourself unable to climb a flight of stairs without needing to stop and catch your breath, this pattern suggests significant heart strain that has progressed beyond its early stages and is not something to manage at home. If swelling is combined with a sudden weight gain of 4 or 5 pounds in a single week, and you notice foamy urine, this combination can indicate that your kidneys are allowing protein to leak out. This requires blood work within the week, not a month from now. If swelling occurs only on one side, is painless, feels firm to the touch, and you have a history of cancer treatment in that area, it could signify a blockage in your lymph nodes that needs evaluation. If none of these alarming symptoms apply to you, and your swelling is gradual, symmetrical, affecting both legs equally, worsens as the day goes on, improves by morning, and you have no breathing difficulties when at rest, then what I'm about to explain is likely relevant to you. There are essentially 3 common patterns of chronic swelling in the lower legs after the age of 60, and they can look very similar to the untrained eye, but have completely different underlying causes. Pattern 1 is venous. This means your veins are struggling to efficiently return blood back to your heart. The valves within the veins may have failed, causing blood to pool. This increases pressure, forcing water out through the vein walls into the surrounding tissues. You'll often notice visible varicose veins, a brownish discoloration on the shin just above the ankle, and the swelling will become significantly worse after a day spent standing. Pattern 2 is lymphatic. This is the primary focus of our discussion today. In this case, lymph flow has slowed down and the tissues have become saturated with fluid. The swelling typically feels soft, leaves an indentation when pressed, this is called pitting edema, and feels more puffy than tight. It often affects the top of the foot, the area just behind your toes. If lymphatic swelling has been present for years, the skin on the top of your foot can become so thickened that you can't pinch it between your fingers. This is a well-known clinical sign that strongly points towards a lymphatic issue rather than a venous one. Pattern 3 is cardiac or renal. This indicates that your heart or your kidneys are not managing fluid levels properly. The swelling is usually symmetrical, worsens throughout the day, and crucially is accompanied by other significant symptoms such as shortness of breath, waking up multiple times during the night to urinate, extreme fatigue, or rapid weight gain. If you experience these accompanying symptoms, you are likely in pattern 3, and this is not something to be managed with a home protocol. You require a thorough medical investigation. For most people over 60 experiencing chronic evening ankle swelling without any other concerning symptoms, the issue falls into pattern 2, a lymphatic problem. Let me tell you about a woman I'll call Dorothy. She's 68 years old and had lived in the same home for 30 years. A retired school teacher, she came into a clinic convinced her heart was failing. Her story was that for the past 2 years, her ankles had been gradually thickening by the evening. At first it was slight, but it progressed to the point where she could no longer wear the shoes she'd always worn, so she started buying wider ones. The swelling continued. When she mentioned it at a routine checkup, an echocardiogram, an ultrasound of her heart, was ordered. Her heart looked perfectly fine. Her ejection fraction, which is the percentage of blood the heart pumps out with each beat, was 62%, which is completely normal. Despite her heart functioning well, Dorothy's ankles continued to swell. She was prescribed a diuretic, which she took for 6 months. She found herself constantly needing to use the restroom, yet her ankle swelling barely improved. She was left feeling exhausted, dehydrated, and still swollen. The turning point came when Dorothy mentioned something unusual. The strange thing is, when I travel and walk around all day, my ankles actually feel better. This was the key clue. Her swelling improved with movement and worsened when she was sitting still. Her heart was fine, her kidneys were fine, and an ultrasound of her veins showed only minor age-related changes. What Dorothy was experiencing was a lymphatic drainage problem that no medication could fix, because the fluid wasn't in her bloodstream, it was trapped in her tissues. Here's a breakdown of what likely happens in Dorothy's body every single day, and possibly in yours too. She wakes up and her ankles look relatively slim. She's been lying flat for about 8 hours, so gravity hasn't been pulling fluid down into her legs, and her lymphatic system has had the entire night to largely clear out the fluid accumulated from the previous day. By morning, she's almost back to her baseline. She gets up, has breakfast, and then sits at the kitchen table for an hour. She then sits in the car for about 20 minutes, followed by sitting at her volunteer desk for 3 hours, then lunch and more sitting. By 2 p.m., she's been upright but mostly sedentary for 7 hours. Throughout this time, fluid has been slowly leaking from her tiny blood vessels into the tissues of her lower legs. Her calf muscles have contracted very little, meaning the lymphatic conveyor belt has barely moved. The fluid just quietly accumulates, a little bit at a time, filling a reservoir that you can't see. By evening, you start to see that noticeable groove where your sock elastic sat. By 9 p.m., the ring on your finger feels tight. By 10 p.m., when she lies down, the real problem begins. All that fluid that has accumulated in her ankles, now that gravity is no longer pulling it downward, slowly starts to reabsorb back into her bloodstream. Her heart suddenly receives an unexpected influx of fluid. Her kidneys, detecting this extra volume, go into overdrive, producing urine. This causes her to wake up at 2 a.m., then again at 4 a.m., and again at 5 a.m. By 6 a.m., she's completely exhausted, and the cycle repeats the next day. Let's do a couple of quick tests, which should only take about 30 seconds in total. Test 1, the pit test. Find the bony ridge along the front of your shin, about 4 inches above your ankle. Press your thumb firmly into this area. Hold it there for 15 seconds. Now, lift your thumb and observe the indentation. If you see a visible dent that takes 10 seconds or longer to smooth out, you have what doctors call pitting edema. A slight dent is grade 1. A deeper dent that lasts longer is grade 2. And a very deep dent that takes over a minute to disappear is grade 3. Make a mental note of your grade. You can retest in 2 weeks after following a specific protocol, and you'll be able to measure the improvement. Test 2, the foot skin pinch. Try to pinch the skin on the top of your foot, just behind your second toe, between your thumb and index finger. If you can easily lift the skin into a fold, your lymphatic system is likely moving fluid effectively. However, if you cannot lift the skin at all, and it feels as though it's fused to the tissue underneath, this indicates a more advanced stage of lymphatic saturation. This is known as a positive stemmer sign, and it's one of the simplest clinical indicators of chronic lymphatic congestion. Now, let's look at 3 things that make lymphatic swelling worse, which most people over 60 do daily without even realizing it. The first culprit is hidden sodium. This isn't about the salt shaker on your table. It's the sodium found in processed foods. Think cheese, cured meats, canned soups, bread, condiments, restaurant meals, and frozen dinners. Sodium has the effect of pulling water out of your bloodstream and into your body's tissues. For every gram of excess sodium your body retains, it holds onto approximately 4 cups of water. The reality is that most Americans over 60 consume twice the amount of sodium they think they do. The second issue is sitting after dinner. The hours between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. when you're finally relaxing are often when your legs accumulate the most fluid. 3 hours of inactivity after your largest meal of the day creates the most unfavorable conditions for fluid reabsorption overnight. The third factor is alcohol. Even a single glass of wine in the evening can dilate your capillaries, increasing the rate at which fluid leaks from your blood vessels into your tissues. It also suppresses a crucial hormone your brain uses to signal your kidneys to slow down urine production at night. Just one drink can lead to noticeably worse swelling in your ankles by morning. Now, let's look at what can help. the things that actually support your lymphatic flow. First and foremost is water. This might seem counterintuitive, but many people with swelling tend to drink less water, mistakenly believing that more water equals more swelling. The opposite is true. When you're dehydrated, your lymph fluid becomes thicker and sluggish, making it harder to move. A well-hydrated body has thinner, free-flowing lymph fluid. Aim to drink roughly half your body weight in ounces of water throughout the day, but try to taper off your intake after 5 UAS p.m. Next are foods rich in natural flavonoids. These compounds are known to strengthen the walls of your small blood vessels and reduce leakage. The best sources include dark berries, buckwheat, citrus peel, and red cabbage. Consuming just 1 cup of berries daily can have a measurable positive effect on your capillary integrity within about 8 weeks. Then there's protein, which can often surprise people. Low levels of protein in your blood, specifically low albumin, are one of the silent contributors to tissue swelling in older adults. Albumin is a protein that helps to hold water within your blood vessels. When albumin levels are low, water tends to leak out into your tissues and stay there. Many older adults are mildly deficient in protein without even realizing it. Including 2 servings of high-quality protein each day, such as eggs, fish, chicken, lentils, or cottage cheese, directly improves the physical dynamics of fluid balance in your body. Finally, magnesium is another nutrient that is deficient in most people over 60. It plays a role in maintaining smooth muscle tone, which is essential for the walls of your lymphatic vessels. Easy food. Sources for magnesium include pumpkin seeds, dark leafy greens, and almonds. Now, let's get to the core of this video. A simple 5-minute habit that can help drain your ankles before bed. Pay close attention, as every part of this is important. In the morning, before your feet even touch the floor, while you're still lying in bed, perform 30 ankle pumps. Point your toes down as far as you can, then flex them back up towards your face. Do this 30 times. This should take about 45 seconds. It's a gentle way to restart your lymphatic flow after 8 hours of inactivity and helps prevent fluid from immediately rushing downward the moment you stand up. During the daytime, every hour that you are sitting, do 20 calf pumps. Keep your heels on the floor and pump your toes upward and then back down. Alternatively, if you can stand, rise up onto the balls of your feet and then lower back down 20 times. This takes about 30 seconds. It's designed to keep the lymphatic conveyor belt moving throughout the day, preventing fluid from accumulating. Don't hesitate to set a timer if you need a reminder. Before dinner, engage in 5 minutes of slow walking. This isn't about a strenuous workout. It's simply about movement. It could be a walk around the block, around your house, or around your yard. Walking activates your deep calf muscles in a way that seated ankle pumps simply cannot replicate. In the evening, 90 minutes before bed, this is the most critical part. Lie down on the floor or your bed and place your legs straight up against the wall, forming roughly a 90-degree angle. Your heels should be higher than your hips, and your hips higher than your heart. Stay in this position for 15 minutes. During these 15 minutes, perform slow ankle circles, 10 in each direction, followed by alternating ankle flexes, 20 reps. Then, while still in this elevated leg position, place both hands flat on your abdomen and practice deep diaphragmatic breathing for 3 minutes. Breathe in slowly through your nose, allowing your belly to rise. Slow, deep belly breaths activate the thoracic duct, which is the main drainage vessel for your entire lymphatic system, located right behind your diaphragm. Every deep breath you take is literally helping to pump your lymph fluid. After the 15 minutes of elevated legs, slowly roll to your side, sit up, and do something that might not be glamorous but is highly effective. Starting at your ankle, use the flat of your fingers to gently stroke the skin upward towards your knee. Be slow, gentle, and always stroke in the direction of your heart, never downwards. Perform 10 strokes on each leg. This is a simplified version of a technique called manual lymphatic drainage, and it physically helps to move fluid from the tissues into the lymph capillaries. You might feel the urge to urinate shortly after completing this sequence. You'll likely release about 300 to 400 milliliters of pale urine. This is precisely the fluid that would have otherwise woken you up in the middle of the night. You've essentially managed to drain it while you were awake and in control. Dorothy followed this protocol for 3 weeks. By the end of the first week, the sock marks on her ankles had disappeared by morning. By the end of the second week, she was no longer waking up at night. By the end of the third week, her ankles at 9 p.m. were the same size they used to be at 9 a.m. Her echocardiogram results hadn't changed, and her prescriptions remained the same. What had changed was that her lymphatic system was finally getting the support it needed at a time that suited her life, rather than being forced to scramble all night while she was trying to sleep. Here are 5 things to do starting tonight. 1. Perform the PIT test right now. Note your grade and write it down. 2. Reduce one source of hidden sodium tomorrow. For most people, the biggest offenders are cheese, cured meats, or canned soup. Choose the one you consume most frequently and replace it for the next 2 weeks. 3. Before dinner tonight, take a 5-minute walk. Don't put it off until later. 4. 90 minutes before bed, elevate your legs against the wall for 15 minutes. Spend 3 of those minutes doing deep belly breathing. When you get up, perform 10 upward strokes on each calf. 5. Tomorrow morning, before your feet touch the floor, do 30 ankle pumps. Commit to doing this for 2 weeks and then retest your PIT test. You will likely be astonished by the difference. One last thing before you go. I'd love to know 2 pieces of information. First, how old are you? Please write your age in the comments. Knowing the age range of our audience genuinely helps shape the topics I cover. And second, where are you watching from? Please share your city, state, or country in the comments. I'm eager to see how far this conversation is reaching, as it helps me understand who needs this kind of information the most. If you know someone you care about who experiences swollen ankles by evening, please share this video with them. They have almost certainly been told it's their heart, and they have likely been given a pill that doesn't address the actual underlying mechanism. You might be able to provide them with the explanation that no one bothered to give them. Your swollen ankles are not a sign of your body betraying you. They are a signal that your drainage system has stopped receiving the necessary signals to function properly. Dedicate just 5 minutes a day, and the change you'll experience is not subtle. It's the kind of transformation you'll see in the mirror, feel in your shoes, and notice the first morning you wake up without feeling the need to press your thumb into your calf to check the swelling.